Hello there everybody, Dixie with Mydoma Studio here, and today's Tech Tip Tuesday we're talking about time tracking. Now, time tracking may not be our favorite activity, but it really is important when it comes to making sure that we are charging our clients appropriately for the work that we're doing. And that doesn't matter if you're charging hourly or if you're charging flat rate or any other way. You need to be able to track how much time you spend on things so you can make sure that you're getting paid enough for the services that you provide. So right now you can see that I am here on my studio login page, that I am at my unique URL. I'm already logged in. You can tell because it just says studio here instead of having the login information. I'm going to go ahead and click studio. Come here to my dashboard. Now, when it comes to time tracking, there are three important elements that we need to have. The first of which is going to be a service. The second is going to be a task. And the third one is how to actually do your time tracking. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my studio menu. I'm going to scroll down and select services. And here in my services catalog, I have a number of different services. Some are enabled for time tracking, some are not. You can tell when you look at them, if it has this little badge right here that says time tracking enabled, you'll know that it is one that can be used for your time tracking. It's really important to have at least two types of services for your time tracking. You can have as many as you need to, but you can get away with just two. One of them is going to be for your admin and non-billable type things, and the other is going to be for your actual services that you provide. Now, you can tell here I have a number of different services in this studio. I also have things that are not time tracking enabled that are part of custom products like custom window treatments, custom soft goods, etc. If you need to filter them down just to get a better look at which ones are time tracking enabled and which ones aren't, you can come over here to your filter. If it's not open, you'll click on this little upside down triangle to open it, and then come down here to where it says time tracking enabled, and we're going to check that box. That's removed all of the services that are not currently time tracking enabled, and it's going to narrow things down really quickly. I can look to make sure that I have the ones I need. Now, I already have an admin and non-billable, but let's talk about how you would do that. Up here, I'm going to select add new. I'm going to create my service. I'm going to give it a name. Now, before we go any further, it is really important to point out that if you are exporting your invoices to QuickBooks, you need to make sure that your services are identical to what they are in QuickBooks. We're not just talking about using the same exact words in the same exact order. We're also talking about things like making sure that any letters that are capitalized in QuickBooks are capitalized here in Mydoma. And then additionally, any punctuation that you add, it needs to match perfectly. All right, I am going to come down here. I'm going to go ahead and add a description. I've already copied it, so I'm just going to paste it here. Control V. I am going to go ahead and highlight all of that, and I want to have a bulleted list just to keep it nice and tidy. So I'm going to come down here, and I like to select my studio for the vendor. And then over here, I'm going to select time tracking enabled. Now, you can choose to add an image. If you would like to, you can upload a feature image. I don't need to do that today. We're going to keep it really simple. I've got a service name, a description, a vendor. Currency is already filled in. It is my studio default currency. I don't need a tax rate right here. This is admin and non-billable. I don't have to pay taxes on this. So I'm going to leave that blank, and I am going to leave the rate at 0 as well. So I can go ahead and save, and that's going to create the new one. Now, if you do ever end up with two identical or really close services in your services and you don't want them both, you can always come up here to the More menu, click on it, and then come down to Archive, and that's just going to pop it over into your archived services. Now, if you want to see what this looks like, I can click for a quick view. It's going to pop up with the most important information. This is the admin and non-billable. It is time tracking enabled. It is my business's information. I have the bullet points here. These are tasks that are related to the admin and non-billable. This is for me in case I forget. This is for my team members in case they have questions about it too. And then the tax rate is 0. Go ahead and select done. And now we are going to head over to tasks. Over here in the menu, select the task manager. You can track your time with any task that you create, but if you want to have a set that's made for just simple time tracking, this is the way you're going to want to do it. I'm going to come over here to new task. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. I'm going to click the edit pencil next to the name, and I want to do project related travel. So I've got that in there. Now I can leave the name like this, but if I want to have all of my very specific tasks at the top of my timer and at the top of anything that I need to do, I'm actually going to come in and I'm going to go to the beginning of this line. I'm going to click just a single apostrophe, and then I'm going to go to the end and I'm going to do another apostrophe, and I'm going to save that name. I don't need to put in a start and an end date. I don't need to worry about the priority. I don't need to change the status. We're going to leave it as to do. I'm not associating this with a project right now. This is something I can do in the future while I'm tracking my time. So we're going to leave that one blank. I can put a description here if I want to be very specific about how I handle those things, just for my own memory. And I'm going to come down now and click create. And so what that did is it created a new task. Come down here, that is travel project related. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to see all of the ones. I've already done quite a few. I want to see all of my time tracking tasks that I've created. So I'm going to do the filter over here. I'm going to filter things down just a little bit. Here again, if you don't see the filter panel, you can click on this upside down triangle for the filter. Right now, I am going to sort A to Z. I am going to scroll here so you can see all of the ones that have the apostrophe in front of them are first. Now, I have a lot of them here. I don't want to look at all of those right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to search by task name. And again, I'm just going to do an apostrophe. What that does is it filters out any of those times that don't have an apostrophe in it. So that makes my life a lot easier. A couple more things to show you here. I want to add some tags just to make it really easy for myself and my team members when they come into the task center to know which items are time related and are the ones that I want them to track in their timer and which ones are not. So you can see here I've added a tag a few times. To add a tag, you click on the tag right here. You start searching. In this case, I'm just going to type TIM and I'm going to select that and it's going to apply the tag. Now, since I have a number of them here that don't have it, to make my life easy, I'm just going to copy this. So I've highlighted it and I'm going to do Control C on a PC or Command C on a Mac. And I'm going to click down here. I'm going to click to do the next one. And now I can do Control V or Command V, and it's going to take those three letters. Makes it really easy and fast. I don't have to take time to type, and paste. And then I'm just going to go down the list. Now remember, I've already made sure that this list is only the ones that I need to do the tag for. And this is a job that you're really only going to need to do one time. You're not going to need to do this every week or every day or anything like that. You can set it up once and just use it from then on. All right, I have all of my different tasks for time tracking already in here now, and they're all tagged. The next thing I want to do is if I have additional team members that need to have access to some of these tasks, I need to add them to them. So, for example, let's just come down here to, let's say this one. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. I've already added my additional team members to this one so that they all have access to it for their time tracking. You don't have to have everybody on every task. You can choose which ones certain people are on. And so I want to make sure that I have everybody on, let's say, training and education. Everybody on my team is going to do training and education at some point. So I've clicked on the task and opened it. I'm going to select watchers. And then I'm going to come down here, and everybody with a star at the top of their picture is going to be somebody that is a team member. If they don't have a picture, the star will still be there. I'm going to select that, and I'm not going to select anybody else because those are my clients. The ones with the stars are the team members, the ones without are my clients. I've got all of them added, and just hover over this to be sure. Yep, all three people. And I'm going to select done. Now, if I ever want to check to make sure that I've added a team member to the right tasks, I can always come in here and select watchers and select the team member, and it's going to filter things down by just that team member's tasks, all of the ones that that team member is watching, not the ones they're assigned to. The key here is to use watchers. All right, we started with the services, and now we've broken those down into the tasks that we do on a regular basis. So the next thing to do is come over here and talk about how to do things in your time tracker. There are a number of different ways that you can add time entries. You can add a time manually by coming here to the time tracker and selecting Add Time. Then you select a start date and start time, and 11:15 that we completed it. Next up, we're going to select a task. So being able to filter by that apostrophe that we used in the tasks is also going to work here in the tasks in the time tracker. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the apostrophe. Only my tasks that are time tracking are now in here, and it is much easier to select the appropriate task. In this case, I am going to say that it was travel that was not related to a project. I could, if it was for a project, if this was a billable time, I could do that here. It's not. It is admin and non-billable, so I'm going to select that. And I am going to go ahead and make sure that I turn off the billable. Now I'm going to save. And one of the great things about the time tracker is it allows you to filter things down even more than just the service or the task does. So you can see I can come in here, I can select the description, and it's going to tell me what was going on that day for that time. The second way that you can do a time entry is to come up here to the timer and click on it. Here again, I'm going to select a task. I'm going to start with my apostrophe. Let's say I was doing a site meeting. I can start typing that in if I need to. Select it. I can add a description, whatever information I need to put there. I can select the project if it is associated with a project. In this case, it is. So I'm going to say it was this particular project. I'm going to select design services because that's what this was today. I have this particular one set up with a rate and it marked as billable. You can totally choose to do that or not. So now that I've got all of that, I am going to start my timer. The great thing about this timer is you can start it when you actually start doing whatever the thing is. Or if you have forgotten to start your timer, you can go ahead and get it set up, push play, and then just push stop and make adjustments as you need to. So let's say that I started at 11:30, and I should probably double check to make sure I have that as 11:30 a.m. And I'm going to come over here. We're going to say that I met with them until 12:10. Click OK. Take a peek at everything. The time looks correct. Now, let's talk about how to do something that is really, really cool, which is to continue a time. There are a lot of things that we do as designers that we do the same thing over and over and over again. When that is the case, let's say I met with the electrician, then I stopped and ate lunch while I was there, and then we met some more. I could always come back and push play when I'm ready to go. I haven't closed that timer. I'm just continuing the same task. It went ahead and started a new time entry for me. I can always select stop and then make any adjustments to the time that I needed to. So for example, I said that I had stopped at 12:10 earlier. I probably didn't start this until 12:20. And we're going to say that I finished the whole thing at 12:30. There we go, an extra 25 minutes, and I'm going to click off to the side to close my timer. So now you can see that I was able to continue that task with a timer. Now let's say I wanted to continue a different task, something that I hadn't just been doing. It's something that I did earlier in the week or earlier in the day. I can be here on my time tracking. I can select the 3 dots and come down to continue task. And when I do that, it's going to automatically create the new entry and start the timer running. So I can stop the timer whenever I'm done with this particular task. Now let's talk about how to filter things down to get more information about all of the different times that you and your team have tracked. So I'm going to come over here to my filter panel and come down to the start date. The start date automatically sets itself to whatever date is Monday of the current week. If I wanted to go back, say, to the beginning of the month, I can click on the start date and then select the date and click OK. And if I wanted to have an end date, I could do that too. So if I just wanted to see the first 2 weeks, I could put that in there. I don't want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel because I want everything from the 1st of May until today. I can filter things down by team member, so I can watch anybody individually time-wise that I need to. I can do it by a particular project. So if I know that we're actively working on the Teleco Plains new build, I can filter that down and just see the times associated with it. If I want to clear that out, I can click the X. I can do the same thing with a particular task. If I want to see how much time was spent traveling back and forth for things that were not related to a project, I can do that here. I'm going to go ahead and clear that one out. And I'm going to come down here to admin and non-billable. Now, if you have services that have been archived and have the exact same name, you may want to go in and change the name of one of those so that it does not pop up here. This one I happen to know is this particular one, so I'm going to select it. You can see this is how much non-billable time we have worked since the beginning of May. Now, not completely accurate, of course, for an active design firm, but for studio demonstration purposes, I think it's fine. I click that X here. I come down here to type. There are two different types of time entries. There are those that are billable and those that are not billable. I can filter to see just the billable times or just the non-billable times, but I can also go back to where I can just see everything. Best thing is, once I have everything filtered out the way that I would like to, if I need to export a PDF or a CSV of the time entries, I can totally do that. All right, that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Happy designing!